today I'm going to be showing off a profile for my Trickstar mekk-knight deck. This managed to get me first place on my locals, been working really hard towards that goal, and I'm going to be taking it to YCS in London at the end of this month. Before I get into the deck profile though, I need to give a couple of shout outs. First, I want to just give a quick thank you to Steven for making me this extra monster zone placement. My mat is pretty plain, which kind of gets a little bit sucky when it comes to setting up your board in terms of zones. So he made this for me, even put SeanVSTwitch on it, which I love and adore, so much appreciated, Steven. Also want to give a shout out to Liam. Thank you, Liam, for these white sleeves for my extra deck. It's a really good idea. Often I was mixing up my extra deck monsters with my main deck when using them in between games, so having them on white sleeves is quite nice because I can differentiate between the colours very quickly. I do need to know or find out though if that's tournament legal in a high level tournament, so it would be if anybody knows that, feel free to let me know. We're going to go through the profile of the video today, and for anyone who's used to my channel, I tend not to do my profiles in terms of monster spells and traps. I tend to do them in forms of their engines and their cores, and we're going to be doing this in 4 parts. We're going to have the Trickstar engine, the mekk-knight engine, tech engine, and then side deck, and talking about sideboard options there, which is currently still being worked on. However, to the left of this video, for that little space there with the Soul Fusion artwork, I am going to have the deck list being put up and listed as we put the cards out. So you can still see it in the monster spell trap format if you prefer that and prefer to see the list written as people normally do. So let's get into the profile for this. Okay, so first of all we have our Trickstar engine. It's pretty much the standard Trickstar engine. It's just been tested a whole lot with a whole lot of ratios. We have our triple Candida because she is our searcher for the deck, and she also burns your opponent for 200 damage every time they use the spell or trap card effect. Candida is your biggest beater at 1800 attack. Really nice monster. You often want to use your normal summon for her and her alone. I've cut Licorice down to 2 copies. I've been seeing a couple of theories that it's better to run 2 instead of 3 unless you're running Pot of Desires, and I agree with that. I took out Pot of Desires. I don't like it in this deck. I've been running 2 Licorice, and even though it I do kind of miss it sometimes, having the extra deck space is necessary for other tech cards. So Licorice at 2 there. 1 copy of Lilybell. Lilybell, super important. It is your recursion, your direct attacker. You can get damage really quickly on the board, and combos so nice with so many cards. Lilybell can bring back a Licorice, and then you can use Licorice to tag out Lilybell, and then Lilybell will go back to the field if she's been added to your hand once per turn by a Trickstar card. So really nice card, and plus also combos with Firewall Dragon here from our extra deck for the Lilybell OTK, which sadly I have never ever been able to do, but I have it there just in case, and I consider it to be part of the Trickstar core. We have 3 copies of Trickstar Light Stage. I've set them up wrong. Trickstar Light Stage is your rotor for the deck, searches out any Trickstar monster, and Candida searches out any Trickstar card, so they combo really nicely together. It is also the main option for dealing face down cards because you can force your opponent to not be able to activate a face down card until the end phase, but then if it goes to the end phase and they don't use it, it sends it to the graveyard. So it is also a really good option for those 2 purposes. Still running 3 Reincarnation. Reincarnation is your hand control option for the deck. It's really good on its own because if you're playing against a deck which sets up a lot of combos and does searching for their combo pieces, you can use Reincarnation to banish their combo pieces and then force them to get a new hand. It doesn't provide you any advantage in that sense, but it can be really good against just like getting rid of certain key cards if you don't want to deal with them without having to go through longer means. Also, Reincarnation is a monster reborn effect in the graveyard, so it can revive your Trickstar monsters, which is very important and adds up damage very quickly. 2 Terraformers to search out your field spell. 3 Draw on Lockbird for the Draw on Lockbird Trick Reincarnation combo, and plus Draw on Lockbird is really good against searching nowadays. If I wasn't running Reincarnation, it probably wouldn't be at 3, but because it is at running Reincarnation, we've got Draw on Lockbird at 3. And then the final card here is we have a Trickstar Holy Angel. This card is currently just taking up space in the extra deck. I don't really care for Holy Angel, even though a lot of people tell me it's good. I think Holy Angel is just something I don't really need to go into, and there are other extra deck monsters which is better. I'm probably going to swap this out later on for something else, but I'll explain that later on when I get to the next core. So the biggest weakness with Trickstars are two things. Trickstars love trying to out-resource your opponent, but there are a lot of decks nowadays which can just do that job better, namely Sky Strikers, and which is why you see Trickstar Sky Strikers more than anything else. Now, also, Trickstars are very weak in terms of their attack, and often it can be very hard to get past your opponent, even if you get enough resources to beat them with, because their attacks can just wall you off and you can't get past them. So we turn to mekk-knights for that. Because the Sky Striker engine is so expensive, I chose to go with a meteor version of a mekk-knight engine, and it's been working out really well to improve the consistency of this deck. Plus also it offers me bigger monsters which I can use and special summon repeatedly in order to kind of do damage and get over my opponent's monsters. So first of all, the main monster we have are 3 copies of Purple Nightfall. First of all mekk-knight cards, or the effect monsters, they all share the same effect, in that is, if there are 2 or more columns in a column, then you can special summon this card from your hand once per turn. Really easy to summon these high level monsters, and also they're light monsters, which is going to be important later on. Now, Purple Nightfall is your engine card, your main engine card for the engine, because it gives you more resources. It has a wind up rabbit style effect, which is that during either player's turn you can banish it from your field to the banish pile, and as soon as you do, you get to add a mekk-knight with a different name from your deck to your hand. Really nice for setting up combos and just kind of annoying your opponent by constantly putting this card back on board until maybe you're ready to use it for a link summon. Also has 2500 attack, which is really nice for getting over certain monsters. The next main important monster here is Azure Blue. Azure Blue is also a really nice monster. It gives you even more advantage than Purple Nightfall in certain situations, because when it is special summoned, he allows you to add mekk-knight monsters with different names from your deck to your hand, as long as it's not Azure Blue, and up to the number of opponent's cards in the column where you summon this. So if they have 1 card, you get 1 search. If they have 2, you get 2 monsters for free, which is really nice. And also, Azure Blue has 2500 defense, which can be useful for blocking attacks in certain situations. Moving on, we have Indigo. Indigo is a combo piece for mekk-knights. Indigo, when it's special summoned or when it's on the field, you can use its quick effect to move it from the column it's in to another one. Ideally what you will do is say you will summon Indigo, move it, then summon something else that you need, and then you have 2 monsters on the field which got there very easily in order to do whatever you want to play, you want to make. Also has 2400 attack, which is really nice. We have 1 copy of Yellow Sun and 1 copy of Red Moon. Yellow Sun is the same as other mekk-knights, but you banish 1 from your graveyard to destroy spells and traps in the column. Not always often used, but sometimes there's a nice option as searchable spell and trap removal. And similarly, mekk-knight Red Moon allows you to destroy monsters in the same column as well by the same means. So both of them are just a form of searchable spell and trap removal that I like to use, and it increases your mekk-knight count nicely, which is important because we are running 2 of the mekk-knight extra deck monsters plus World Legacy Memory. World Legacy Memory at 2 is basically emergency teleport for mekk-knights. It is a very good card, particularly in a link format where you can put any monster on the field and use it for a link summon. And how World Legacy Memory works is that it's a quick play spell, and during either player's turn you can activate this and special summon a mekk-knight monster from your deck. Your ideal target is to go for Purple Nightfall, put it on the field in defense for 2000 defense if you want to block something, maybe go for Azure Blue to block a higher attack, and with Purple Nightfall you can then either banish it to get its effect off, or you can just let World Legacy Memory resolve, because in the end phase it sends the mekk-knight back to your hand, which is really good. It doesn't destroy the monster. Now why we run 2 copies of World Legacy Memory is because it combos nicely with Morningstar here. Now Morningstar is a good link too. It requires 1 mekk-knight monster and 1 any other monster, which is really easy to do with Trickstars, because Trickstars can be very easy to summon. And when you link summon this card, you can discard a mekk-knight monster and search out a World Legacy card. And obviously we search out World Legacy Memory. Can do Succession if you want to, but I don't really like it in this one. So you get out a World Legacy. Now once you've got a World Legacy out, you can play World Legacy to special summon another mekk-knight card. And World Legacy makes it so you cannot summon anything but mekk-knight monsters for the rest of the turn, but that's okay because we've got an amazing card in the form of mekk-knight Spectrum Supreme. mekk-knight Spectrum Supreme is such a good card from Trickstars because it gives you a really powerful monster on the board that has a very high attack that cannot be outed too easily. Because how his effect works is he has 3 link points, and as long as nothing is pointing towards, as nothing is in the monster zones this points towards, he cannot be targeted by effects or destroyed by card effects, which is really, really nice. Also, if this card is the only card in the column that it's in, then he can attack directly, and that can really steal you games. Just to attack directly with 3000 damage. I actually won a game based on time because I used his effect to attack directly and just limit my opponent from doing enough damage to me to get the game back. So really, really nice card. Okay, and in terms of tech options for the deck, we got some generic stuff here, so I won't go into it into too much detail. I'll go into the tech options for the extra deck in a second. We have 3 copies of Ash Blossom because it's the most consistent hand trap in the game at the moment. 2 copies of Ghost Ogre, which often gets sided out in certain matchups. 2 copies of Scapegoat because it's Scapegoat, and Scapegoat links easily, gives you easy access to your extra deck. And then 2 copies of Call by the Grave in order to shut down graveyard effects or hand traps as well, so you can go off without too many worries. The most important tech options which I'm seeing here are, I've got 2 copies of Twin Twister in the main deck here. This is a choice for the tournament I was going to because I knew what a few people were playing there, and there's quite a bit of back row hate love going on at the moment, so I'm maining 2 copies of Twin Twister, but this would probably be something like Mind Control. I'm still kind of working out what this slot would be instead, and Twin Twister would be in the side deck. The best card which I love in this tech option is Goals and Match. Goals and Match is so good in this deck. It does limit you out of your extra deck kind of a bit, but with your Trickstars and your mekk-knights, you can play under Goals and Match much better than a lot of decks can. And yeah, I love maining this card now. This is definitely a card. This is more my Vanity's Emptiness in this day and age. So that's a tech. And tech options for the extra deck is basically a toolbox of options that you can go into to deal with different situations. We have generic monsters such as Link Koribo and 2 Link Spider for going into your extra deck there. Proxy Dragon, there's a 2 Link monster to go for just a generic 2 Link monster, particularly good for tokens. And also Landfornicus, now is also generic, but ideally, to be honest with you, I'm actually using these as placeholders. Landfornicus, Link Spider and Holly Angel are probably going to get cut for 1 copy of Shizuku, Kagari and Isolde if I choose to buy one, because I'm thinking about getting Ash Blossoms for my side deck in order to counter Sky Strikers and Gokis and other similar warrior based decks. Also, having Kagari and Shizuku is kind of nice because you can use it with Mind Control, steal your opponent's Sky Striker monster, send it to the graveyard for your own Sky Striker monster, and so it's nice for that play too. So these are just there for the time being. As for the rest, we have just generic options for removing cards off the field. You have Cerberus for getting rid of monsters on the field. You have Phoenix for getting rid of spells and traps on the field. You have Ningarisu for just break sword skill. It sends anything on the field to the graveyard from either side of the field. You have Borreload for snatch steal effect. He won me a lot of games in the tournament. Topologic Bomber for Heavy Storm, Heavy Storm for Dark Hole effect, and Trispania for Heavy Storm / Banishing Heavy Storm style effect. Do ideally also want to try and get a Borrel Sword because it double attacks and it changes cast to defense. Really nice option, but it is expensive, so I'm not sure if I'll get it or not. As for my side deck, it is a work in progress. I'm still testing this a lot on YGO Pro. If anyone wants to help me test, hit me up with a message. And as you can see on the screen, I'm looking for experts of certain matchups to kind of help me build my sideboard and yeah, to get this better. So we're going to start with this stuff which I'm more confident with at the moment. We've got, just as a 2 tech option, a copy of Red Moon and a copy of Yellow Sun, just because I like to swap between them sometimes. If I need more monster removal, I'll take out Yellow, pull in Red. If I need more spell and trap removal, I will do the opposite. These can easily be changed out though, but I like having the option of having more searchable cards. If I need maybe both, I can even take out Indigo, so I have an extra monster spell and trap removal or monster removal. 2 Event Vaders. This is usually my go-to option when Ghost Ogre is no good, so I'll swap out Ghost Ogre for these 2. Event Vader is just good for negating stuff on the field and hitting stuff that, say, Ghost Ogre doesn't necessarily do. Cosmic Cyclone and Twin Twister, they're just at the present time for having more spell and trap removal. I might buy more Cosmic Cyclones because it does things which Twin Twister can't always do, but you know, I'm working on that one too. Then we have 3 copies of Red Reboot. This is particularly for back row decks where you can't destroy their cards or you don't want to destroy their cards. such as Altergeist have a bit of a floaty card. So Red Reboot is kind of for that. And with mekk-knight in Trickstars, you can, even though you're giving your opponent a free card, and the stun that you're doing for them for the turn is usually kind of enough to get you enough damage to go for the game, depending on the situation. So testing it out still, but Red Reaper is pretty good. The things which I'm not so sure on are, at the moment I'm using 3 copies of Humongous and 3 copies of Solemn Strike. Solemn Strike, easy to kind of talk about, really good card, but I just never fit it in or never found a reason to bring it in, so I might swap it out for something. Maybe the Ash Blossoms might come in there for this, so I have Ash Blossom targets in the to kind of help my opponent with. And also the Kaiju. Kaijus are really nice with mekk-knights because you can choose a column to tribute your opponent's monster and change the column so you can summon this wherever you want to. Plus it's a Kaiju, it tributes over stuff, it gets rid of certain threats. Use this on the Ultimate Conductor Tyranno at the tournament, so that's kind of nice. However, if I really want to use this more, it really needs to be a Gamma Seal, because only one mekk-knight can really attack over this, and that is Purple Nightfall with 2500 attack, and the other ones can't be over it, which kind of sucks. Indigo can crash into it for 2400 attack, but you don't want to do that. You want to be able to attack over it. So having 3 Gamma Seals would be a lot better, because then most of my mekk-knights can attack over it. However, I'm probably not going to use this anymore. I'm probably going to swap this for 3 copies of Mind Control for some of the reasons which I said earlier. Mind Control is just really good at stealing a card and using it to be for a Link Summon, so I'll probably swap that out, or maybe have something else to kind of hit the Sky Striker Goki matchup. So yeah, so there's the sideboard. So hey everyone, I hope you enjoyed watching my first ever live camera based style deck profile video. I like this deck. I think it's a really good version of Trickstar MEKK-STARS. MEKK-STARS, I'll just call it MEKK-STARS. The deck is very competent. I really enjoy playing this deck. I think it's very well built and very well tested, but there still needs to be some work done in terms of matchup knowledge. And if you are someone who knows how to play any of the decks that you're seeing float across the screen right now and want to help me train on YGO Pro, feel free to hit me up, because I'm looking for people just to practice against. Really need to do that. One matchup which I'm really not sure about is how this deck will face against Thunder Dragons. Thunder Dragons are very good at stunning, and that's going to be very difficult for this deck because it likes to do so much searching. So if anyone has any experience with Thunder Dragons and wants to help me train, let me know. However, I will be doing some videos on Soul Fusion. I'm going to be doing a breakdown video of the set, and I hope to get a few friends in that for that. Razorblade and Necro want to join in for that, so feel free to look out for that in the near future. Might be a stream, might be a video. And then I'm going to be doing some testing with the new archetypes that come out with that, and talking about some of those which got bumped up, which got some new support. But anyway, thank you guys for tuning into this video. Please feel free to share, like, and subscribe and all that jazz. And I'll see you soon. Take care.